So here's the security alert that we've got from people working for Museveni and all of them. Suluhu, the president of Tanzania, current president of Tanzania, has sent over a few or several Muslim prisoners to come to Uganda to pose as a terrorist group supported by NUP, or the party of Bobiwine. The way they want this operation is to have those Muslim men come to Uganda, to Kasese in particular, where there is a member of parliament for NUP called Cheyune. What the plan is, which they've already acted out and practiced in their timing to make sure that the operation will succeed within the time allotted for it. They would like to do this in at least 10 minutes or less. So those gentlemen have been brought to Uganda. They have been taught on what they're going to do and say. What they want them to do is they're going to perform acts of violence and kill some people, hurt some people in the Kasese region, and then run into the home of a member of parliament for NUP who just succeeded the election, to go run into the gentleman's home and act like the gentleman is the one who sent them. When they get to Suluhu's home, in the middle of a ruckus where the army or police are coming to a rescue or running after this gentleman because they're seeming like because they've committed some acts that are of atrocity, they will run after them, and in the middle of that, Mr. Cheyone will be killed or will be shot dead immediately. So then this man will continue on to go to get arrested. They'll hand over themselves to the police and things like that, and the police or the military will put this man before the camera to document what they have to say. And these men are going to say that NUP or Bobiwine is the one who sent them to come and perform these acts of atrocities. And this is, remember, to make Bobiwine look like a terrorist organization. Museveni is trying to undo what his son has done. All of the claims or the celebrations that the son has made online, such as killing only 22 of the NUP members or people during the elections and wanting to kill more, all of those tweets that Muhoozi has sent out are really adjudication of what he has, or they could be certified as true statements coming from who they really want to get the statements from. He's basically agreeing to what he has done or they have done during the election period. So Museveni wants to undo all that. He wants to make sure that his name or his son's name becomes clean by showing the international community that Bobiwine is truly and indeed is a terrorist organization, and that's why his son is trying to fight them. So eventually, when these men are put before the camera, they're going to make claims or allegations that NUP is the party or the person, or Bobiwine is the person who sent them to do these operations. And the reason why they're using Muslims is because Museveni is dying to prove to the world that Bobiwine is connected to terrorist organizations. As you might know, a lot of, bad talk has been in the direction of Muslims to paint them as terrorists and things like that. So Museveni wants to follow that trend, to say that these Muslim men were sent by Bobiwine to come and attack Ugandans. Indeed, Bobiwine and his party are terrorist organization. So anyways, after the operation in Kasese, where after Cheyune is killed, these people will also claim that they have other partners in Mbale. In this way, they're pointing towards Nambeshi. Nambeshi is a NUP, one of the NUP executive members who resides or comes or hails from Mbale. What he really wants to do is what Museveni is trying to do here is to connect these men, to link them to Nambeshi, so that Nambeshi is also picked up by the Museveni people, and then eventually they will make claims that they are also linked to leader of opposition Joel Senyonyi and Secretary General Louis Lubongoya. All these are claims such that his son looks legitimate in his crackdown on Bobiwine and his home. So then they will capture Nambeshi. They will also come and take Lope, Joel Senyonyi, and then they'll also come and take Secretary General Louis Lubongoya. In those acts, Museveni wants his son to come out as a sort of savior, like he did in Luero. You know, he confused people. Museveni came and attacked, and then eventually afterwards came as a savior, as a rescue person when things, when people were crying. And so people felt comfortable in him, feeling like they can trust him and that he was their savior. This is what he's trying to do. These acts are such that if this, whatever their plot is, succeeds, this son of his, Muhoozi, will remain Chief of Defense Forces, or CDF. Otherwise, if this plot does not work, he wants to appoint a gentleman called Okiding. Okiding is a deputy of the CDF, is the deputy of Muhoozi at this point. So to remove his son from the public eye, from the international eye, Museveni will appoint Okiding to become the CDF. But really what that means is just that he is a placeholder. Okiding will have no powers. The son of Museveni, Muhoozi, will still be the one stroking his strings on decisions and what needs to be done. So with that said, after the operation, Museveni will make a personal trip to Bobiwine's home and assess damages and look around, because what they do with this, what they're also going to do with this gentleman is to have them say things like they were sent by Noop and Noop gave them ammunitions to use to kill Ugandans as a means of protesting the elections. But as you know, the protest vote that Bobiwine talks about is a peaceful demonstration against the results that were released by Byabakama on after election day. Peaceful protest vote is a peaceful protest, not a violent protest. But because Museveni does not know what is going to hit him from where this time, he is terrified and he wants to make arrangement to tarnish Bobiwine's name before anything happens. The other thing that they're going to do is these gentlemen are going to, before the camera, while the cameras are capturing them, he will get these men to go to places where they have planted ammunition, places like, I have the names here, places like Owino Market. Owino is one of the locations where they're going to place those items. Arcades in Kampala, Coach Hotel, which is near Mapera House or CPS. I think some of you might know where this is. Those areas, they have already stocked or stored ammunition during the night. For these men to come during broad daylight with cameras following them to show them what, where those ammunitions are, to pin Bobiwine further on the allegations by Museveni. Okay? The men will then go back to Tanzania after that operation. And the other thing also is that there is a letter that has been written and dated December. It was written by this gentleman in Buganda, the Katikiro of Buganda. The letter states that it's apparently written and agreed upon by the four Katikiros. There's the Katikiro of Buganda, Katikiro of Toro, Katikiro of Kasese, and Katikiro of Busoga, Muvawala. This letter it speaks about Bobiwine's group, again speaking about Noop as an organization. The letter states that the people of the kingdom, or the you know, Katikiros are like vice or operations managers, for example, in a kingdom. They are the people who perform acts or duties of the king, and on and on and on. So these men have written this letter, which they dated December, and these are all efforts of Museveni to try to tarnish Bobiwine's name and tarnish Noop's name. Museveni's goal is to arrest all of Bobiwine and try to obliterate Noop as an organization and all of its party members. Right now, as I speak, there's several abductions going on in the night of every Noop member. Several members live in the bushes. They do not live home anymore for fear of losing their life. The other thing also that they're trying to do, before I get back to that point, is they are now trying to rearrest people that were appointed to watch or to, what do they call those people who are at, people who are appointed by Noop to be their representatives at all polling stations are now being rearrested by the Musevenis to have them pen their signatures on the bogus DR forms that they generated showing Museveni's win. Because at the time that the elections were going on, those people were abducted, conveniently so that all of the DR forms would reflect Museveni's win. And now that those people, some of them escaped, some ran away and all of that, now that they don't have the signatures to prove that those new people or the appointed election polling station agents are no longer, now that they want them for their signatures, they're trying to recapture them and force them to append their signatures to DR forms that they were not even present to witness, because their job is to witness and say, okay, there is 500, Chagulanyi Sentamu has 500 votes, Museveni has 20 votes. Those are the types of forms that they need to sign legitimately to make the forms legitimate. Now, Museveni has not been able to achieve that, and that's why they're abducting several more members of these new people. But going back to the letter is something that has been arranged after the fact, obviously, to further affirm that Noop is an organization of terrorists. They want this letter to prove, Museveni is going to use this letter in the international stage to show that Noop has been a threat in these kingdoms, because even the kings or the chiefs or the katikiros of these kingdoms have felt a threat by the Noop people in their communities locally. So to boost Museveni's idea of Noop being, or his front to the international community that Noop is a terrorist organization, he wants to put this letter out there so that people feel like, oh my goodness, look, even the community thinks that it's true, but it is not true. I am saying this early because you're going to see these things, and hopefully our voices, or the voices of people who are communicating such information, can go ahead such that when these acts or these letters start to surface, you have some type of proof of a premeditated situation in Uganda. I'm not saying this as a threat. I'm just laying down the facts as I have been given by a very, very credible source. The other thing that they are also trying to do is, in a few days, like I mentioned, Museveni wants to stifle inter-district travel or communication. He wants to make an effort to lock down Ugandans in their districts or in areas where they live. In this way, this is going to sound crazy, okay? Very, very crazy. In every effort, Museveni wants to make sure he subdues all Ugandans. All Ugandans. He has gone as far as create a virus that he can spread in Uganda to keep Ugandans sick so he can keep them on lockdown. An example, soon the Minister of Health, I think her name is Acheng or somebody like that, will announce an outbreak of Ebola. But you all know it is very warm, temperatures are very warm. Ebola cannot thrive under such weather. But because they're so desperate to tame people, to subdue people, to keep people poor, to keep people in the worst living conditions so that they can easily manage these people. He's going to introduce something like that. And shamelessly, people like the health minister, because he pays them, he can pass messages like this through them, and without them thinking twice, they'll do it anyway. So an Ebola outbreak is imminent. Any time from now, it will be announced, not because it exists, but to create fear amongst the people of Uganda, to keep them on lockdown. That is something Museveni wants to do. Okay? I've also heard that Miss Lina Zedriga, the vice chair of Northern Uganda, is being held in 4th Division Barracks Gulu. In Gulu, in Northern Uganda, you know that that's where the brother of Museveni has pitched tent. He actually lives in this area. He lives by that barracks and controls the military in that area. This woman was abducted on the 15th of January, and she's only appearing in court tomorrow, apparently, without her lawyers. None of her lawyers have been able to access her because over time they've denied having her. The other person that we need to also look for or pay attention to is Jolie Tukamushabe. She is a deputy NUP vice president for the Western region, Uganda. We still don't know her whereabouts. We saw the video of her abduction by the Museveni government. We hope that she's alive and that she'll be produced in court someday. But I just want you to know and have faith, Uganda, that all of what's happening now is a sign that this government is losing grip. The reason why Museveni acts this way is because he knows he does not have the power. He's losing power. He has lost power. He knows that Bobiwine won the election. It is the reason why the new Chief Justice was sworn in his compound without his family even being witness. Museveni took the Chief Justice to his home for the swearing-in ceremony. So all of these things that are happening happened when Obote was in government, happened when Idi Amin was in, all the times that they were exiting. Look at other countries like Libya. Gaddafi's son behaved just like Museveni, with too much power, too much pride. He did all these things. But he, in any case, helped speed up his father's downfall. We know that this is happening in Uganda. We have enough international attention. You know, Robert Amsterdam, the attorney of Bobiwine, is working real hard. Everybody's working really hard. Uganda, don't lose hope. Stay firm. Believe that change is coming, because it is coming. Okay? It is coming. In any way that you can defy this government, that you can show your contribution, please do. In any way. Peacefully, you can do it. You can achieve it. We can all achieve a new Uganda, and it is just around the corner. It is happening soon. So I'm here for you. I'm your friend. I'm your sister. I'm your mom. I'm your, I love Uganda. I love our country. We are peace-loving people. We are kind people. We always mean well. But I want you to always remember that Bobiwine is a power and a force that we have. Is the liberator of Uganda. He's going to make this happen. Let us support him. Let us protect him. Let us stand by him. Let's do whatever we can. This is my contribution. It is not very much, but I tell you, I would rather do this than watch or look on. My silence does not help. My silence would mean siding with the enemy. I am on your side, Uganda. I am on your side, and I mean well, and I always will. In any way I can support the struggle, I will. Okay? Be strong. Change is coming. We are not afraid of Museveni. We are not afraid of his son. We know that he's plotting to tarnish our names or tarnish the name of NUP organization. But NUP, we are peace-loving Ugandans. We are here for the people. People power, our power. People power, our power. Sooner or later, we will be free. Freedom for Uganda. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.